In this video, I'm going to show you how to find emerging markets for investing in US real estate and how to use this information with BirdDogBot so that you can find more deals and better deals faster than you could before. So the first site I'm on right now is Trulia.com, and Trulia has a really cool feature called their Heat Map. Now, this heat map is actually buried in their site somewhere, so I will provide a link for you below on the blog so that you can access it. So let's take a look here at what we have. This here is what the heat map looks like. Now I'm going to select the median sales price over here. So what this shows us is the median sales prices for homes in the United States. So as you can see, areas that are red are higher priced than the areas that are in green. Now because we're zoomed out so far, this is really painting each state with a very broad brush stroke, so to speak. So what we want to do is we actually want to drill down. So even though a state might be red like Florida, which is where we're going to go because I've been using that in my examples in my videos, you're going to see that there are green areas to invest in Florida. So what we'll do is when you hover over Florida, this little diamond thing appears and you want to go to the Florida heat map. And what that will do is that will zoom in to Florida a little bit more. I'm going to just zoom in a bit more so we can pull it up here. And there you go. As you can see, we do have some green and yellow areas inside of Florida, but this southern area down here seems to be red. But as you'll see, the more detail we get, we will be able to find some green areas even within these red areas. So we've been using Fort Lauderdale in my example, which I know is in Broward County. So let's take a look at the Broward heat map. So once again, our red little area has proven to have some green or some yellow or orange colors in there as well. Now once you're in down to the county level, what you can do is you can actually search by the neighborhood. So let's actually just type in Fort Lauderdale inside the search. Now we will see the city broken down by neighborhood, which is even more granular than even a zip code. So let's zoom in a little bit more and see what we're looking for here. Okay, so as you can see, if every time you hover over one of these areas, you can see what the name of the neighborhood is. So what we're looking at here is, you'll notice that just as the graph shows here, we go from red to orange to yellow to green to a darker green. There's this natural progression of the property values decreasing. And you'll notice that it's quite common that you'll have a red area and it's followed by the yellowy orange area, and then eventually the green area will come in. Now it's no surprise that the red area is obviously all by the water, and as you move further inland, the property values start to go down in these areas. So what we want to be doing is we don't necessarily want to be going into these red areas, but probably these areas that are bordering the red is where we want to go. Or even if we could find one, like if we look in here, here's the little neighborhood here called Nurmi Isles. And then there's another area here, Victoria Park, which again is also orange, which we can see by the map here that we're in the $205,000 to $233,000 price range. But again, you can find cheaper properties within these areas. So how we're going to use this information with BirdDogBot is like this. So let's say, for example, we want to look in this area here called Victoria Park. Well, within BirdDogBot, as you know, we can search by zip code. So what we need to do is we need to find the zip code for Victoria Park. Now you could switch over here and take a look by the zip code, but then what ends up happening is you end up losing the actual neighborhood. So unless you just happen to know, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you. So there's another site that I use when I want to find these zip codes, and it's ZipMap.net. And in ZipMap, you can basically drill right down and find the zip code of a particular neighborhood. So we were in Florida, so we'll select Florida. We were in Broward County, right? So then we can go right into Fort Lauderdale. And then these are all the neighborhoods listed here. So we will find Victoria Park. Now that we found Victoria Park, we can see that Victoria Park is part of the 33301 zip code, and there's also part of Victoria Park in 33304. So from there, what we can do is we can go over to BirdDogBot. I'll just log in and go over to my search project, and then we'll click Add. Now what we can do is we can search by one of the zip codes we just discovered from the heat map simply by selecting a state. So we were in Florida, and then we can pick the zip code that we were looking at, which was 33301. Now I'm not going to bother going through the rest of the process, as I'm sure you get the idea. But one other thing I could show you is if we go over to our deals list and let's pick a deal. that BirdDogBot has already found for us. If we go down to the resources section, we'll see a link back to the Trulia Heat Map that pertains to this particular property. And as you can see, by clicking on that link, it just takes us directly to the heat map associated with this area. So what this will do is it will help you do some due diligence by verifying the property is in an emerging market, which can help you make better informed decisions about whether or not you want to pursue the property or not. Now, just like any other single piece of due diligence information, whether or not it's in an emerging market or not is neither a deal breaker nor a deal maker, but rather it's just something that's good to know to help you make better decisions. And that is how you find emerging markets for US real estate investing using the Trulia Heat Maps to see where the money is being invested in a particular area. If you're not already a BirdDogBot subscriber, come check us out at www.birddogbot.com. Thanks for watching.